So, good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and a good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. It is a brunch time with Mayegun live. And thank you very much once again for joining. And this can be the continuation of what we discussed yesterday. So, Deji Adeyanju has finally gotten the attention he's been craving for and is going to milk it. So yesterday, what was in the news was that the law firm representing Peter Obi sent a letter to Deji Adeyanju to retract and apologize over all the defamatory and then lies posted about Obi in the media. And people have been reacting to that. Like, number one, maybe Peter Obi shouldn't even have bothered. Like, for somebody like himself who have been so much like vilified by his critics. So this one seems to be like, oh, they finally got under his skins. While others are like, no, 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 no. Sometimes there is a time to actually push back. Wherever you swing or whatever side you probably you are, right? Yeah, is the continuation because yesterday, the Adeyanju himself was a guest. Was it yesterday? Yeah, was a guest of the a program on channels where the same conversation popped up. I think he was even invited because of it, right? And he went on to repeat most of what is currently being like almost a suit for, and that includes calling Obi a liar, a bigot, the head of the mob, leader of the mob. And he also said that if the opposition presents him, he would rather go and work for Tifnumbu. And that's the conversation we're going to start with today. Mind you, there were other snippets from their ongoing NBA conference in Enugu, in which the constitutional lawyer, I've been a human rights lawyer, that is Mike Zekome, was one of the speakers again, and he spoke on the lie called Nigeria, right? And he pretty much asked the lawyers that, look at yourselves, in a country where increasingly every day human rights abuses and all those social vices are becoming systemic. So you that are lawyers that probably couldn't even defend yourselves, how do you think you can defend the trapped people in this contraption? He continued to mute the idea of, renegotiating this contraption and decide if people still want this or they want something different, sort of. And the issue of human rights abuses, right? A case of Mahazi Namdekanu was also popped up. His own lawyer was there, right? As everyone was talking about what they probably felt was important to them, his lawyer reminded them that there is somebody who is a prisoner of conscience right now. And no lawyer in this room will pretend not to be aware of the injustice being meted at Mahazi Namdekanu, to the point that the system continued to even disobey their own court judgment and all that. So they should also ponder on that, and many, many others who are currently languishing in different prisons in Nigeria for doing absolutely nothing, right? While the criminals that are depleting the country, dividing the country, looting the country, terrorizing the country, continue to walk free because they have been helped by those who are supposed to understand the law that should hold them responsible. It's now been like manipulated, tweaked to favor these rogues and punish the people who are supposed to be the base of their democracy, put it that way. So Deji is now going to be doing media tour. And I think it is the attention is being craving. And like I said from the start, he is going to milk it. But his own driving motivation, according to him, was that it was Peter Obi that sent for him. And of course, he went, they discussed, right? And when he was leaving, right, Peter Obi offered him money. And he was like, thank you for coming, money. So he, Deji, automatically felt like, this man is a fraud. I thought they said he doesn't give people money. And from that moment on, he believed automatically that Peter Obi is a fraud, and he made other things up. Things that he himself said, Obi should go ahead and do his worst. They will meet in court. So that's where we're going to start from at this noon. And remember, it is an open mic, meaning you can phone in anytime. I can take a break and take your call just before we go to something else, right? Here, Deji.
I said 5 pages long, lots of things said. But let's just start by saying this is not in court yet, so we can discuss this. What exactly is your grouse against Mr. Peter Obi and the Obidients?
Yes, so in the wake up to the 2023 general election, because I'm not political, I'm just expressing my thoughts about why the opposition should come together and unite against the criminal APC and roguish APC government that always rig elections. That if the opposition is divided, that there's no way they can win. I was just expressing my political thoughts and views. The idea of the Obi candidacy excited me, and I said, but that he needed the buy-in of Atiku and Kwankwaso. I even urged Kwankwaso to deputize Obi. I urged Atiku to step down for Peter Obi, and all that. So in the process of that analysis, just expressing my views, I also said the fact that Atiku has been running for president in perpetuity, that he cannot continue to run. I was just expressing my views as a Nigerian. So then Peter Obi all of a sudden started trying to reach out to me to meet me. But at that time I was out of the country. I think I was in Dubai or somewhere. So, but he was persistent in reaching out to me. And I was avoiding him. But, I didn't want to see him because I didn't want it to look like, because I've expressed my views, which seems to be like almost in his favor, he now wants to see me and corner me to be one of his supporters. I don't want to support any politician because I'm not partisan. Because some people had already started even resigning from activism and joining him. So I didn't want to join his bandwagon, but I was excited by the idea of Peter Obi because, of course, Southeast have not produced a president in a very long time, except after post-independence anyway. So I was excited. So subsequently, I made some further views, and this time around, he was more persistent. So one of his aide, a journalist, reached out to me. So we subsequently met, and I said yes. He first recommended me for some of my views and all that, and said that it would be exciting to work together. I said I'm not working with anybody. But I now made some observations about the things that he has been accused of doing in the past. Corruption. Sarah reporter reported the story where his staff was caught with money. He tried to explain it, but I was not satisfied. Then I also raised the issue about these issues of him using state resources in Anambra to invest in his family business. His explanation to me in his defense was that he had resigned from the company before he became a governor. I was flabbergasted. I couldn't just wait to get up to leave the place. I'm like, how can a man that wants to be president of Nigeria not see the clear abuse? You understand? That he has abused his office to do such a thing. He was justifying it. He didn't see anything wrong in it. I was completely disgusted. So eventually I didn't want to disrespect him, so I wanted to leave. And then he got into, because we're like in a living room, it's like a suite. Then he got into a room and said, please, he's coming. That he wants to go inside the room and he has something for me. So he brought one envelope or something like that. And said, no, this is just a small thing, it's just for coming, blah, blah, blah. I said, I laughed. I said, that means you don't know me. I said, and you are friends with Mimiko, former Governor Mimiko and others. There are people that I was close to. You will have asked them about me. If we do anything because of conviction, it's even me that will bring out of my money and support you. So he kept insisting that it's not like that, it's not what I'm thinking. I said, God forbid, I left. So, however, I never revealed what happened to anyone. So I remember vividly, he went to, was it Egypt, to inspect some power something. At the peak of the Ekiti election, when his candidate in the Labour Party was running. So I criticized and said, you should be in Ekiti and not in Egypt. And I said, because you want to be president, you must go and campaign for your candidate and try to win. His aides, some of these young boys that are around him, started insulting me that the reason why I'm criticizing him now is because that I was saying that he was okay, he was good. That the reason why I'm criticizing him now is that I brought a proposal to him and I demanded, is it 200 million or something? And that he told me that. I said, me? And these are his close aides. So they started doing that. So I said, oh, because I had observed the pattern about them, that they terrorize people online, insult people, slander people. His mob, his obedient mob were practically uncontrollable during the last election. So I said, okay, so these people do not even want dissent of any kind of criticism of their candidate of any kind. I said, okay, I'm not going to even leave Tinubu alone and now face them, because we cannot have a situation in our country or in our polity where political extremism becomes the order of the day. And Nigerians are living witnesses to the things that eventually happened to the build-up of the last election. We have never had this kind of toxic political experience. Aside the Buharis, after the Buharis, the Obidients mob is the most toxic political movement that we have ever witnessed in this country. They threaten Supreme Court judges, Court of Appeal Court judges, threatening artists, threatening Professor Wole Soyinka, insulted everybody in this country because of Peter. And so, what are the things I said? Everything I said is true. In a civil suit or criminal suit of defamation, justification, truth is a defense. What are the things I said? I said he's a political fraud, that he's parading himself as a messiah. Of course he is a political fraud. Didn't he swear that he will never leave Abga? That any day he leaves Abga, let something which I won't want to say on TV. Then he left Abga. The only thing that I forgot to say, among the things that he should now add to his defamation suit, is that he's a political prostitute. Hobnobbing. And look at what he said about the people that he wanted to defeat in the last election. He said they operate a structure of criminality, but today he's with them. He has one leg in PDP, they are discussing with him, another leg in ADC, and he's still a member of Labour Party. Confused politician. So he should do his worst.
He should do his worst. Now, you have heard from him directly. For those of you who are just probably seeing the conversation for the first time, right? Things went south from the moment he felt insulted that Obi was offering him money. Then after leaving, he said he criticized Obi, and people were close to Obi, that he knew that they were close to Obi, started writing that the reason why he's criticizing Obi was because I think I remember that time too. So that was what threw him up his feet. And that's how he went dark. Now, everything he said is listed, right? He's not the only person who has expressed that similar view. But you see, that he is expressing such a similar views doesn't make them right. Here is something. If this is me just kind of like throwing it out now based on what he said, though, right? Do you know the reason why the regime of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan docked Tifnumbu? Don't worry, I'll tell you in case if you don't. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, they were looking for something, anything that they could use, right? Because then they knew that it was the idea of Tifnumbu, right, that was pretty much driving APC move at the time. So they needed something. It was no longer governor, remember? So the Code of Conduct Bureau, they now found that Tinubu was operating, when he was governor, he was operating bank accounts in America. And the balance in those accounts, they put everything together, it was like maybe $6,000 or $7,000. It was so like paltry compared, right? But they said, according to their law, he broke law. I mean, if you remember that time, it was still docked. But unfortunately, he managed his way to wriggle himself out of the system. So if Peter Obi, this is common sense now. Are you with me? This is not like trying to kind of make something stick. If Peter Obi had committed a crime, don't you think, even if it is just an invitation, right? Tinubu is known to have looted Lagos and continue to loot Lagos. And this is like a consensus that people agreed because there's evidence, right? But yet, now one foreign bank account with $4,000 or $6,000 balance is the reason why they docked him in Abuja that time. You remember that photo that he sat in the dock like that? And all the ACN governors, the rest of them, their senators, everybody, they were all inside the courtroom in solidarity, remember? Now, the point I'm trying to make here is this. Deji may make assertions, but that doesn't make them true. And if for any reason, Peter Obi has managed, as a businessman in that system, he has managed, right, to use the system to his own advantage, that is not a crime too. However, morally, that is another one that people are trying to also justify, say, well, morally, does that make sense? So because he was a bank chairman and then he resigned to go and be governor, does that then mean that the money that he invested in the business, he won't collect his own shares and his shareholders and the rest of that? Again, like I said, if a law is broken in that place, right? But morally, that would then be, like, how much do you think he made from Anambra's money? That's, I'm just using Deji's word now. How much do you think? How much can anybody say he got? Because if, for example, if Fidelity Bank, right, received $50 million deposit, fixed deposit, and the bank says, so in 5 years or in 10 years, so the money will become $75 million. So which means Anambra State makes $25 million, Abi? Now, how much did the Fidelity Bank or those banks make? And how much did Peter Obi get? That's how you can single out the moral corruption part of it. Right. So Deji is reacting to the social media bullies. That's why he called the Obedient mob. They are terrorizing people on social media. They are insulting people. But now today we insult ourselves. Did you just start insulting yourselves because of Obi or Obedient? Abeti Bagbe. The toxicity, he said something like, the level of toxicity they are seeing today, the last time they saw it was during Bokwari's time. Forgetting the fact that those who perpetuated the toxicity, which are now the Buhari Deans, they are now the Bati idiots. You understand? And their toxicity is just carried over. Okay? Now today will not be abuse attacking ourselves. Is it today that you will see, is Obasanjo anywhere near respectful within the Ronukus, if all of you want to be honest? Baba Adebanjo, a Yoruba man. What about other people, other leaders or elders from other places that out of the anger of the moment on social media, they have been called names, they have been attacked and called things, even called you before he became your president. So Deji is angry that they are terrorizing him on social media. I understand. But one thing you should know as well is that, yeah, Peter Obi might have been the person who is benefiting from the rage and angers of Nigerians. But you cannot deny the fact that those who are reacting on this same social media, they are those who are living inside Nigeria, who are every day lamenting about their situation in that place. So they are not invincible. They are not imported. They are not hired. The beneficiary could be anyone else. and not Obi. Do you understand? But the bottom line is this: the real people who terrorizes people physically. Deji is from Kogi State, the state of Tatata, the state of Yeye Bello, the state where the only way APC wins or declare themselves winner is through violence, and it is about guns. Is from there. I don't know if there's any group of people who have actually, at least based on the last your last charade, I don't think I have anywhere you have the Obedients where they actually have guns